are the heroes. They are here in the Mukdong studio. Here at the GSL.
One Protoss left, and so far we're 2 for 2 with Protoss getting in. Can the third Protoss advance the up and downs? Will we maybe see some Protoss trying to push their way into Code S, a place that seems a little bit Protoss starved right now?
Yes, indeed. And today may be the first day in a long time where a Terran has not won a single game.
Yeah.
So
not even one, 0.
Not even one, because Dream was the only Terran player, and he just got 2-0'd. Pretty easy peasy.
Easy peasy, man.
By Lucky.
Well, I mean, that was the thing. The Roaches came, and we were like, I mean, I know we've talked about this so much, but it was like, oh, well, he'll be prepared for this. It's going to do a little bit of damage, but actually, no, he just didn't have the bunkers up, and he just died. And it's funny because in the first game, he did his own type of all-in, more of a timing attack, really, but he did his own timing attack that was meant to end the game, and Lucky actually dealt with it beautifully. But when Lucky was the one doing the timing attack, Dream was like, ah, and it just like didn't have to. He just had to cancel his bunkers that were making way too late. He was like, "There's roaches walking past the SCV." He's like, "Well, I'll make a bunker now." No.
Yeah, he actually canceled like 3 bunkers in the middle of being attacked because he realized, oh, this bunker isn't actually going to complete in time. And he's like, oh, wait, I canceled all my bunkers because none of them are going to complete in time.
Well, here is Czech, a player who's been around forever. He's been around since the beta. He was actually considered by many Koreans to be the best player in the world during the beta. He and Fruit Dealer actually played really well in the beta. They actually played each other in the finals of a tournament that was called I think it was called the World Championship or something like that. But he actually was considered to be one of the best.
I vaguely remember that.
He was one of the best players in the world back then. He's still a pretty top player, but he's actually fallen so far as his standings go. He actually eliminated another FXO member earlier weekend, so he's been practicing his EVP. And Sage, on the other hand, his opponent right here, is a player who a lot of people are looking at and saying, well, this guy's got a lot of potential. He played against a Terran last time, though, so he hasn't been practicing this matchup as much as Czech has been practicing for him, rather.
Yep. And versus Protoss is actually Czech's best matchup as well. He's coming off a bit of a win streak against Protosses, having recently beaten, as you mentioned, Weekend. Just beat MC in the up and down matches, actually, and then, of course, beat Naniwal last season.
Yeah. Now, all of those Protosses, though, are kind of weak little Protosses in the grand scheme of things. I think that, I mean, I'm including MC in that, actually, but
yeah,
we'll see if Sage has got what it takes. When I saw Sage play against Yoda, I wasn't extremely impressed by him. He did some cool things, but we'll see if he's got what it takes here. This guy has been super hyped. Yeah, he's secured his Code A spot. He's in Purgatory now, but he may actually have a chance of grasping that Code S medallion if he can take these games today. And Czech, on the other hand, might have a chance at getting back into Code S.
Yeah, he really wants that. I mean, he's been around for so long. It would be
it'd be sad to see him go.
It'd be a little bit sad, you know. I wouldn't have said before that it would be sad, but he's shown a little bit of a resurgence lately. He's shown that he actually kind of deserves to be around, and so if we see some good play from him here, we'll find out in just a moment here. Game number 1 is starting, and here is our Zerg player. He has been around forever. A very good win rate career versus Protoss.
Check Prime win.
Little Hydralisk watching over his desk. And
no
here
board race can harass it.
Yes, exactly. Here's our Protoss player. He actually does not have a very good record for Zerg.
NS Sage.
Sage. He is on a 7-game losing streak against Zergs right now. So,
not very good for Sage.
Not very good for Sage at all. It's coming off of, like you said, a win against Yoda. Before that, though, a couple losses in like the iCup tournament to Curious and Life, 2 Zerg players who... Curious is actually pretty good, but I've never even heard of Life.
That might be... I think that's a ZenX player, if I remember correctly. I've heard that name before. Well, we are going to see Sage do a similar opening to what we saw Oz do on this very map and these very positions. But, of course, he's making a Forge before Nexus and this pylon on the low ground. He's doing the safer version. He's not as comfortable going for a crazy 17 Nexus. On a map that's actually not very large. Sees that his opponent is doing a speedling expand with his probe scout. Forge finishing up here. We're going to see the Nexus go down before Cannon, most likely.
I think part of why people are hyping up Sage a lot is he's done pretty well in the team league.
Yeah, that's where he's gotten most of his reputation.
Beat some pretty solid players. He did beat Lenok, actually.
Yeah, I actually had the pleasure of watching that game live. That was awesome.
Nice.
That was when he looked unstoppable. And a little bit of a trivia for you guys. NS Hosa in the team league has had an all kill from all 3 races.
Oh yeah, that's right. So we do have the pylon. I'm sorry, not the pylon, the probe.
It's actually
the same hotkey. Oh, it's the second probe. Oh, that's kind of interesting.
He may actually try to cannon here because he sees that there's no overlord spotting for cannons.
Aww.
Now he actually, I think what he wanted to do more realistically was use 2 probes to fight against the drone, but their Zerglings are already out. So I'm a bit surprised that he actually had 2 probes out there. He still hasn't made use of his second one just yet.
I'm a little, yeah, that's interesting. If he's gonna do it, he's got to put the pylon up now. I mean, he's obviously it's more important for him to make the cannons at his natural expansion to protect that.
Yeah, I think we're reading too much into this. I think he actually set up a second probe by mistake, expecting his first one to be destroyed, and now he's actually just going to use it for scouting.
Maybe.
Well, 2 gases going up immediately for Sage. His core is halfway done, or excuse me, gateway rather. Made 2 cannons just to be safe, and now sending that probe to make sure the hatchery was not cancelled. He's going to go into the main and see how many drones are mining, and in fact, he may catch this Roach Warren because the Queen missed the probe. He is going to see it, and it's cancelled immediately by Czech.
Is he going to make it again once the probe is dispatched?
But he does. The probe's got to know. He sees how much gas is being mined here. He knows what's going on.
He knows something
is up. Queen's actually went to attack the extractor while they're trying to target the probe. And the probe is actually going to get out. And this is the very reason why Sage was able to...
Did he see it?
No, he did not see the Roach Warren.
He didn't see the Roach Warren again, no. But he saw that there was like a drone over there ready to build something, and then it went back to mining. Yeah. He's like, oh, I wasn't building a building. What are you talking about?
Well, here's the thing. He sent that extra probe there and hit it because he wanted to scout this very specific thing. Now, also, he's already got 2 cannons up. The Roach Warren is late. His Cybernetics core is not finished. He should have a Stalker or a Sentry out, whichever he chooses. Most likely a Sentry by the time the attack hits. He should be completely fine. Core is done before the Roach Warren. He's already starting a Stargate. And chrono boosting out. Actually, yet another Zealot. He's going to send 2 Zealots forward. Now, this actually may be something that comes back to bite him a little bit, but Czech does not have Zergling speed. Actually, just finished. I take it back. He is going to attack here, but there aren't very many Zerglings out on the map. In fact, there are only 4.
Yeah, he does have 16 in production, though, actually, and the Roaches are about to pop out as well.
Yeah, and these Zealots are going to see just what they wanted to see, whether or not there was any more pressure coming on. And he actually is going to catch these with his initial 4 Zerglings coming in to surround them. Yeah, he's able to get Zergling speed out because, of course, he made that before the Roach Warren after circumstances arose in the base with the probe.
Yeah, so it's up to Sage to defend now.
And 3 more cannons going up.
A lot of cannons. The Void Ray is going to be out.
This is not a little bit late. Easy. The Sentry pops out as well. He's going to be able to use that first force field to buy time. The Roaches are going to go for that cannon immediately. Nice force field there. And the cannons do finish doing so much damage to these Zerglings. There aren't going to be very many Zerglings left. Nice block here on the probes. And he's trying to target that down with those Zerglings, but it just didn't work. And
yep, those 3 cannons behind the Nexus being really good now.
The Void Ray is going to be able to clean up all these Roaches.
Exactly.
So you can catch them.
The Roaches cannot harass the buildings in the front because the Void Ray can just pick them off pretty easily.
He did force 3 cannons, though, and killed a few probes. And right now he's got total map control with these Speedlings, even though the Void Ray is out. So Czech's not in a terrible position from here. And this wasn't an all-in. This wasn't a one-base Roach aggression like we've seen earlier today. It's a very different just Roach pressure. Oh, catches that Roach. Going to catch this Overlord, too. Oh, he doesn't want it. He's not interested. No, no, he is.
And there's a couple more Queens about to pop out. So once this Void Ray kills off that Overlord, they won't be able to do anything else with that Void Ray.
Warp Gate research is done. 3 more Warp Gates are about to finish. He's actually adding more. He's actually going to be going up to 5 gates, adding a Twilight Council as well. Wants to do, by the looks of it, a timing attack. And the Zerglings are going to come in here, but there are so many cannons up, plus a sentry here.
Oh my gosh.
This is the right choice.
This is not a right choice at all. One force field goes down. The Zerglings are on stop. What are they doing? They're just sitting there dying.
He wants to put them on stop so they could attack the probes instead of focusing on the cannons, but it didn't work at all.
But there weren't probes there.
Yeah, it didn't work at all because he just mineral walked away, which is really easy to do. If the force field had been bad, he actually could have ended up hurting himself more with the force field. And ooh, he's done it, man. He's added the 7th gateway.
Oh,
the
dear.
circle is complete. There are 3 Void Rays out that he's actually keeping alive, which are going to be really useful in this timing attack as well. Blink is on the way. It's going to take a little bit longer. He may actually try to go with +2 for this. I like this, targeting down some drones. If the queens came one by one, he might be able to get a queen, but he's actually going to have to leave now.
Yep, only taking shield damage on those Void Rays, though, so they will still be just fine for the attack that's coming up. And yeah, 7 gateways, so he is definitely going to be going for just one big push to just try and kill Check outright.
Yeah, he's going to try to get this extractor with the Void Rays. I really like this poke. There's no reason not to. As long as you don't lose your Void Rays. He actually is going to get a queen here. Not worth it, though. And doesn't even get the queen because we're transfused. It's not worth it to lose that those hit points.
No, it's not.
Because what use did that 4th queen have except fighting Void Rays? It actually just gave the queen what she wanted.
Pretty much.
She's like, this is my job, and if you hadn't attacked me, I would have had nothing to do. I would have been just sitting around bored all day.
I would have had to clean up cardboard off the street.
It's never worth it, tip for pros players, to try to attack queens unless you can kill all of them. If you can't kill all of them, it's not worth it to kill one.
Yeah, I mean, because if you think about it, here comes those Void Rays again, but they're going to get driven away.
There's
a
so
queen is
many
150
units.
minerals. It's not worth a Void Ray.
Check actually doesn't know about this timing attack whatsoever. He has a few spines. He has 2 spines and a ton of Zerglings out, but this attack with good force is actually just going to wreck Check.
It's going to kill him.
Check's going to get wrecked.
There's nothing you can do about it. His zealots are kind of in the back, so it's not the best positioning, but some good force fields are going to protect his units from these Zerglings from surrounding them.
Yeah, the Void Ray is doing extra damage to the spines. The Queen's not really able to engage them. Yeah, this is looking really bad for Check. Good force fields again here, and Sage is warping in more units.
Trapping those queens as well, make sure they can't get away. The Roaches having a hard time engaging.
Yeah, the Roaches are just too little too late. If he had had these Roaches before the fight, it would have been okay. The Void Rays do fall, but the Queens are going to fall afterwards. Now he's got so many force fields still stored up in those sentries. The Overlords of Check are all stacked up taking damage. Good force fields trapping the Roaches. The drones can't even participate, and he didn't even have to use his blink. He's using it now, but Check just got way outclassed here in this first game.
Yeah, just did not expect this at all, and was not prepared for it. So here we go, Sage pushing in GG from Check, and Sage is going to take game number 1. Win.
And, you know, Check made a few critical mistakes in that game. The one mistake I'd like to talk about most was when he attacked the Zerglings with one stop position. The idea was there, but you don't do that when if your opponent has one cannon at the front, you can sneak by and then your Zerglings are free from cannon fire, or maybe there's one cannon shooting at your Zerglings, it's fine.
Yeah.
But if your opponent has 3 cannons there and a sentry, your Zerglings are just going to die so fast that DPS doesn't matter how many Zerglings you get through. They're just going to die.
And you also don't put them on stop position, and then once the probes are all gone, leave them there for 3 seconds.
Well, at that
instead
point,
of reacting.
with the force field there, he actually could have just left them there and watched them die, or just had them all bunch up and try to run against a force field and die. Either way.
Well, he could have run them away.
Yeah, I guess
once he realized he wasn't getting kills, he could have run away and saved at least a few of them. Yeah, I don't know.
It was a bad attack.
It was a bad attack.
And I liked Check's pressure with the Roach Warren. He was very careful about making sure the probe didn't see, but I have to give Sage credit. He did a really good job of scouting. He sent the second probe over. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but even so, whether or not it was, he waited, he hid the probe, he went to scout with it.
I think you're right. I think it was a hidden probe that he hid to do a ninja scout with after the timing had come to see if he was going to put down a Roach Warren or something like that, because we've been seeing that so much lately.
And yeah, and if the first probe dies, then Check's not going to be really thinking about it. That's why the Queen was already transferring down. The probe was able to sneak by the Queen that was on the ramp, because she was on move command transferring down to...
And And once you kill that probe, what do you do with your 4 Zerglings? You send them to the watchtower, and you send them to the front of the Protoss base, so they're not going to be anywhere nearby to stop that probe, that second probe, from sneaking in and scouting. And it's exactly what happened. That probe was running in circles around those queens for like days, making them like cancel the Roach Warren and then like go to build it again and not build it, and then go to build it again and have to build it someplace else. And
it really delayed the attack. And that's one reason why you should always have an Overlord or some unit checking your mineral line behind your hatchery, because that probe was just there for scouting. But if he had decided to cannon, that actually could have worked, because there was nothing to scout for that at all. The hatchery does not have vision while it's building, and it's only when it finishes that you can really see things with the hatchery.
Yeah.
So if he had hidden cannons there, Czech actually would have been in trouble. And of course, he would have a Roach Warren, so he could have like tried to break it. But just in general, not scouting at that area is not good. It's not good. It's not something you want to do.
No. Well, I mean, the thing is, it's not really that common either, so you can't blame Czech too much, for not having checked there. But anyway, he's down a game now. We're going to be going into game number 2 here very soon.
Yeah, they
Sage
accidentally made the wrong map.
Oh, okay. Sage, looking pretty good. I don't think he did anything too spectacular in that game. I'm not going to think he's the next Protoss Bonjo just yet.
He just did a nice timing attack, and Czech made a lot of mistakes. He didn't have very many units. Imagine if all those Zerglings that he lost were part of his defense that could have bought him more time to get those roaches up, because he had a lot of roaches on the way. He had that critical drone count. It was probably about 30 to 35 drones that Czech had before he started making those roaches. He wanted to hit that and then make the roaches. If he had the Zerglings to buy a little bit more time and those roaches were out, he would have been okay. But even so, it's hard to say. There was blink out. He had +1. He had +1 armor on the way.
If there was any question in Sage's mind about if he was going to do that attack, it was gone when he killed all those Zerglings. He's like,
that was
oh wait,
so many Zerglings.
Not only did your early pressure not work, but you also just lost your army. You don't have anything right now, and you have to choose between droning or units, and
that was the
either
moment,
way I win.
Actually, where he added the additional gateways. He went up to 7 gates.
I thought so.
When he had 5 gates and a Twilight Council, so it looked like he was gearing up towards it. And when the Zerglings died, he added 2 more gateways.
He's like, all right, I can actually just finish this now.
Yeah.
And finish it he did. Next game is going to be on Antigua Shipyards, even though neither player can really make ships. And we're going to find out here very soon if Sage can take home a 2-0 lead, or a 2-0 win rather, and get into the up and down matches, or if Czech can bring it back home in just a second.